Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and if you're new here, my name is Edward Smith and welcome to my YouTube channel. And in today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different where I'm going to take you through the steps I take when I record vocals and how I get it to sound nice and clear and crisp, as a lot of you guys have asked about my most recent release, Hand in My Hand, and how I really got those vocals to stand out, especially in the fact that I recorded it in a home studio type environment. And I want to take you guys through the plugins that I use. I want to take you guys through the small little details to make your vocal brighter and stand out, and how it really plays a role with the instruments around it as well to really make a vocal sound nice and clear and professional. Before we jump into this video, I'd first like to give a huge shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring today's video. For those of you that don't know, I personally use DistroKid to get my music out on the biggest platforms like Apple Music and Spotify. It only costs me $20 a year for unlimited uploads, whether it's a single or an album. And the song that we're looking at today was actually released through DistroKid as well. And I do use their Spotlight service, which is free with the $20, where people can vote for your song and you can end up on their specific playlist. And if you guys want to vote for this specific song, if you like it, I will leave a link down below as well. And also, if you're interested in signing up to DistroKid, you will get a 7% discount if you use my link down below as well. So make sure you guys check them out and support them. Okay, so to jump straight back into the video, let's have a listen to the song and see what it's all about.
Just put your hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song. You know it's never been better, just look in the mirror. Guess I'm falling in love with the girl sent from above.
Okay, so as you can see, it is a pretty chilled song, and when there isn't a lot of instrumentation, vocals do tend to stand out a little bit more anyway. So when it comes to tracks like pop tracks that have a lot of things going on, it is a little bit more difficult to get the vocal to stand out and be really clear with all the effects around. But in this case, because it is a pretty chilled song, the vocal is already kind of up front. You just have to do a few tweaks to really make it clear and sounding pretty professional. And to start off with the vocal on its own, I'm going to take all of the effects off that I have on it off, in terms of the inserts, the EQ, and this is what the vocal sounds like just on its own, recorded with pretty much nothing else.
Hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song.
Okay, so very clear, nice and basic, not too much going on. When it comes to recording vocals though, one thing I do try and do is really get a full voice out. Otherwise a vocal is very mumbly and you can't really do much with a mumbly vocal. There's no effects or something to make it clearer. So when you're recording your vocals, really try and get the best takes you possibly can. I know that a lot of people like to record vocals at least 5-6 times and then just pick the best parts. It's called comping. I do that for very big songs, but if there's really a song where I'm just trying to be honest and get the exact take I would, especially if I was going to do it in a live kind of fashion as well, and I want that effect, I don't do that too often. And in this case, you know, I did record it a couple of times to get it nice and clear, but it is sounding pretty clear. And for this main lead vocal, the first thing I like to do just to kind of get everything going is cut out all the breaths. You know, every time I breathe, if it's too loud, like, you know, in this sense over here, you can see I really lowered the vocal already. So if I put that back and I play it, you'll hear it clearly.
Every step you take, there is no rush. Open your eyes and look in front.
You hear that it's not a big deal in this example right now. You can hear that it wasn't, you know, very clear, but there is, you know, certain parts where if I'm recording and I maybe bump something on the side, you don't want to have that in the song. You want to cut that out. And you don't always have to cut out the breaths, because in some instances you want it to feel real intimate, and especially with a song like this, I don't think you would do it all the time, especially if you want that feeling. But a lot of the times you cut out the breath and you just kind of, you know, take out all those noises and things that you don't want. The second thing I like to do once I've done that is just listen to the entire vocal and then pick parts that are maybe too soft, and then just, you know, amp up the sound a little bit there, drop the sound a little bit there. Your compressor does do that, but remember, a compressor does add a certain tonal quality to your song. So if you just want to first do that, you don't want to do it too much, because you still want the dynamics, you know, between the loud and the soft, and creating that intimate and push and pull. But overall, try and just do it a little bit just to get a nice balance overall. You can use Vocal Rider, which is a plugin that I have from Waves, which it's a cool plugin, but sometimes, you know, it doesn't always do the thing for me, because it does have an effect sometimes to really make a vocal too soft, or sometimes not even loud enough. So I rather just do it manually, especially if I have the time. And after I've done that, the first thing I like to add in terms of effects is a De-Esser for any of the T's, the S's, the sibilant sounds. I want that to go away so that I don't have any harshness when someone's listening on maybe a cheap pair of speakers or headphones. You don't want that popping out. So I put that, and the De-Esser I use is just a basic De-Esser mono from Waves. Sometimes I use a lot of the presets because it's a good place to start, especially if you're just messing around with new plugins and seeing how they work. In this case, I went for the Pensado Lead 1. If you don't know who Dave Pensado is, he's a very good mixing engineer. And then I play around with a bit of his stuff, and then I see how I like it. It's not something you will clearly pick on when it comes to a De-Esser. It doesn't do too much in terms of effects, but it is something that's really just smoothing out the vocal and taking out those high frequencies that we don't want to hear. The next thing I like to do is add an Ssl channel, which is, for me, the most amazing plugin for a vocal. I love the CLA2A vocal compressor. The one that really does it for me is the Ssl channel, because it has compressors, has EQing, and it also has such a great tonal quality. You can really almost just use this plugin and no other compressors, and you'll get a really good result. And with this plugin, I have my high frequencies, my mids, my low mids, and then my low frequencies. I have my compressor, my dynamics, all of these things over here. And like I said, when it comes to these plugins, I also tend to like to use a lot of the presets and then just work from there. It's a good place to start. And with this, I have the CLA lead Vox, so I'm really getting that CLA kind of preset with the Ssl, which is really nice. And then from there, I just fiddle around with my high filter, my low filter at the bottom here, and just see how it fits. And this is what it sounds like with and without it, including the De-Esser that I just spoke about, and cutting out the breaths and all these kinds of stuff. So with just these two plugins thus far, it sounds like this without them.
Just put your hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song. You know it's never been better, just look in the mirror. Guess I'm falling in love with the girl sent from above.
So as you can hear, the purpose of a compressor is to bring out your vocal, to make it stand out more, and that's why you have parallel compression, all these different kinds of things, especially if you have a lot of instruments and things that are happening. And in this case, you can clearly hear that without it, the vocal is really like raw and buried, and you can hear what's going on, but it's really not standing out at all. Whereas when I put on the Ssl, the De-Esser, like I said, it's not doing much in terms of making it stand out. It's just finishing off certain areas so that it's not too bright, but the Ssl already makes it pop out like crazy. And with all of that, we also have a nice compressor that I've added as well, which is an H-comp from Waves. I'm a really big fan of Waves plugins because they have so many bundles and things like that, especially if you're looking to purchase for a vocal, or if you're looking to purchase for, you know, just mixing in general. They have such cool packages for really good prices and deals all the time, and their plugins are really, really good. And with this case, I've went for the H-comp mono. I like to have all my vocals and stuff in mono and use the panning options, because as soon as you put it in stereo, you can't pan it. So you can't put it a little bit left or a little bit right and create a bigger type vocal. You want to keep everything in mono. That really just helps, you know, have everything in its own lane and then work from there. And in this case, I went for another preset, tight vocal. I do this all the time, so just bear with me. I went for the tight vocal preset, which is over here, and then I listen to it again, how it sounds, and then I see how it pops off. With the previous Ssl channel alone, I will play it and then I'll just add the H-comp to tell the difference.
Hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song. You know it's never been better, just look in the mirror.
Okay, so you probably won't pick up that much of a difference, but what it is doing is the Ssl channel is really bringing out the vocal nice and bright, and because it is doing that, there are still a few harsh frequencies popping out every now and then. So with this plugin now, it is really just smoothing it out. You know what I mean? So it was pretty dull. We added the SSL, super bright, but now we have to take some of these corners and just, you know, smoothen them out so it's really soft on the ears when you're listening on headphones or any cheap speakers, anything that's really harsh, especially on the high end. So really nice, just a quick finish there, nothing crazy difference. It's just smoothing out the same way the De-Esser is smoothing out the S's and the T's and the sibilants. Really cool. Next thing we move on to is a reverb, and the reverb plugin I used is actually a free plugin that I'll leave a link down to below, which is called Old School Verb. Really cool plugin, also comes with some really cool presets and really simple but easy to use, and overall it makes a vocal, as for some of you guys that don't know, reverb really makes that echoey fullness on a vocal, and you don't want to use too much of it. You just want to give it that effect that it's not this raw individual type vocal. You want to give it a little bit of life around it. It's like the cushion around the vocal, kind of, but not too much, never too much. And in this case with it, I have a nice reverb, not set to too much. As you can see, it's not affecting the mix too much, only that little bit there. The rest, space, time, width, it's nice that you can do it. A lot of the other plugins don't have these extra little things like the width and this kind of stuff. So really cool, and this is what it sounds like with it and without it.
Hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song. You know it's never been better. Just look in the mirror. Guess I'm falling in love with the girl sent from above.
So as you can hear, it has that little bit of an echo in the background. The vocal doesn't feel like it's sitting on its own alone. It has a little bit of a cushion around it. It's almost like you're singing in a room and the door is slightly open to like a big hall or something, and you just have that slight pickup in the background. And this isn't something you would hear in the mix if you play it all together, but it's really just helping that vocal fit into the gaps of the mix and really be nice and comfortable. So really cool plugin there. Like I said, it is free, link down below. And then the next plugin I used is actually a stock plugin that comes with Cubase, and it's a mono delay as well. Like I said, everything is in mono just so that I can space it out nicely. And the plugin I use is mono delay. It is on a quarter type delay. The feedback is pretty high, not too high, it's actually pretty basic. And then the effect I have on it in my mix is 1.5%, so very little, because it's not in a kind of parallel bus on its own. It's affecting the actual vocal, so I don't want it to be too much. And with it, it sounds something like this. I'm going to take all the other plugins off just so that you can hear that effect on its own, with and without, and then I'll put everything together in terms of the plugins.
Hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song.
So as you can hear, it has that delay, it has a little bit of an echo in the background, and that together with reverb really creates that cushion around a vocal and makes it fit and makes it, you know, not feel empty and alone when it comes to putting it all together with the mix. And putting it with all the plugins, this is what it sounds like. Pretty clean.
Just put your hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song.
See, so it has that mix of the vocals right up in front, but it's also kind of at the back, which is the balance that you are looking for so that it really sits in the mix. And then I also have an EQ here that I used with Cubase, as you can see at the top here. I could probably open it up here as well. And it's a small little cutout here at around 100, between 100 and 200. I always do this for vocals. If you look at most presets as well, it's pretty much the place where you would start. But depending on your vocal, you might want to pick this up a bit to get that extra, you know, low end if you were very high indie in terms of when you're recording, or if you want to cut these out. A lot of frequencies are cut here as well because it's very harsh around, you know, 2K and 5K. But for this, I added not too much because my SSL was also doing EQ, like I mentioned earlier. But this is what it sounds like with this EQ as well. Really nice and simple. Let's have a listen.
Letting you go as we dance to our song. You know it's never been better. Just look in the mirror. Guess I'm
See, so really bright, really clear, and pretty simple. Like I said, this song is a very basic song, not too much instruments and stuff like that. So just the lead vocal alone is already playing a very big role, and it's the most important part in any song, from pop to pretty much any track. Get your lead vocal right and the rest will fit into place really well. The next thing I like to do when it comes to recording vocals and getting them to sound nice and full is actually recording backing vocals and small things that you might not pick up when you listen to the song, but if they weren't there you would really say that the song isn't full, like the mix isn't right, it feels empty. In this case I always like to record vocals twice, maybe even 4 times, just so that I can pan them left and right and really get that width in the vocal and really expand them out through the mix. And you don't have to have your vocals loud when it comes to the second and third and these additional tracks. It's just there to fill in case you're going for the effect of really making it like a choir or something. In this case it sounds something like this, the backing vocals that I added without the lead.
Just put your hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go.
So it's unique that I sung it like this, because usually you'd record the same kind of take twice and then pan them left and right. But with this specific song, I wanted it to be super intimate, if you know what I mean. So I wanted like that whispering kind of effect, but I couldn't do that on the lead, otherwise it would be that mumbly recording that I didn't want. So this is just that whisper on either side of my headphones, panned out nice and broad, left all the way, as you can see, all the way left and all the way right, and that just helps, you know, create that kind of effect. And with the lead vocal it sounds something like this.
Hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song.
So it just helps fill. The lead vocal is still the strongest. When you bring in the instruments, you won't even hear these like little background vocals on the left and the right. It's just making it wider. And then one thing you can do to really make a vocal stand out and thick is actually, you know, record some harmonies. Instead of recording the exact same kind of key and the exact same kind of like melody and notes, what you can do is just sing some harmonies and also pan them left and right, and it really brings out a vocal and makes them stand out even more. So in this case, when I play this bridge area without the lead vocal, this is what the harmonies sound like.
Stay close to me and you will be alright. Just put your trust in my hands and I'll love you till I die.
So you can hear it's just a little bit of something different. With a lead vocal it sounds something like this.
Close to me and you will be alright. Just put your trust in my hands and I'll love you till I die.
So that small effect really brings out each little word, especially as I reach the end of every like 2 bars. It pops out a bit, it pops out a bit. And if I put in the guitar or something, for example, and I play it, listen to how nice it sounds with these extra little harmonies, especially when they panned out slightly.
Stay close to me and you'll be alright. Just put your trust in my hands and I'll love you till I die. You are all I need, there's no giving up. Just think about the memories that we made for us, that we made for us.
Okay, so you can hear it's really nice. Anytime you record vocals, always record at least 3, at least 5 of either the same take or some harmonies or something unique. Play around with it, pan it, do interesting things to really just get a cool, unique sound, and also just help the vocals stand out at the end of the day. Okay, so that's pretty much the vocal recording process and mixing process that I go about when I do my vocals, especially with a song like Hand in My Hand. And I know that a lot of you guys had questions about how I did the vocals, and I hope this tutorial helped you. It's not something that I do a lot, and if you guys want me to do more, give this video a thumbs up. I do the vocal recordings for my mic comparisons and things like this pretty much the same way. And speaking of microphones, the mic that I used for this song was a Neumann TLM103, and for my other song, Little Paradise, I used an Audio-Technica AT4040, which is actually a pretty budget microphone compared to the TLM103, so really good microphone as well. And like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video and you think I should do more of these, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you do your vocals. I'd really love to know. And give this video a thumbs up if you loved it. Subscribe down below, and I will see you for another video next time.
Hand in my hand, let me hold you again. I'm never letting you go as we dance to our song. You know it's never been better. Just look in the mirror. Guess I'm falling in love with the girl sent from above.